Good morning from the lamb coverall. This is the coverall building where we lamb our sheep. Just making sure this big guy gets a drink. Nice little set of twins in there. This, I think, is a set of twins. And I think that's a set of twins. And the reason why I say I think. Hello, Reggie. Reggie wants in here. The reason why I think these are 3 sets of twins is because when I came in this morning, I had 6 lambs and 5 ewes licking them off and wanting to mother them. So if you watched yesterday's video, I had 4 pens set up along there with all these mothers in there, and I had set up this pen with the green gates in order to take them out of the lambing pens, which I was planning on doing today. So when I came in this morning, I needed the lamb pens, so I started taking them down to put these ewes in. But like I said, 5 ewes mothering them. I knew this one hadn't lambed yet, but she really wanted them, so I ended up, I know, you want in. I put her in that pen away from these, so she'll forget about them and lie down and have her own. She is lambing. She doesn't like Reggie there. She is trying to lamb, she just doesn't really know it yet, so probably within an hour she'll lie down. And then the other ewe that was involved, the moment I started bringing these lambs in, she wandered away. And now I see she's out there lambing. She was lying down pushing a minute ago, so I'm going to leave her be. And I think I've got these somewhat sorted out. This ewe with the very colorful lambs, that bloodline of ewe typically has that color scheme of lambs, so I'm pretty sure those are hers. This ewe was right in with them, and this lamb was there. So these 2 ewes and these 3 lambs were there. This lamb was over with the ewe that hadn't lambed yet. And this ewe was over by the hay feeder with 2 lambs. However, these 3 lambs look quite similar, and by the time I start moving stuff around, everybody got mixed up because they had all kind of lambed out there by the hay feeder and were in very close proximity to one another. So, I think I have them somewhat figured out. I'm for sure positive that's a set of twins, or that those 2 lambs are off that ewe. Is this a triplet to those twins? Possibly. Is he a single? Possibly. Are those a set of triplets? Possibly. All possibly. One thing I do know for sure is that ewe was willing to mother those twins, and she's willing to mother this lamb. This lamb here seems to want to nurse off that mother and not so much off this ewe, and I'm not sure that she really wants to take it. But because it works out nicely if they all raise twins, I'm going to try to see if she will feed that lamb. So I was in there when we started this video. If I'm sitting in there, the ewe tends to just freeze up against the wall like she is right now, and the lamb starts nursing. And typically if I do that a few times, they will take the lamb. So it might just involve me coming in here a few times today, making sure it gets latched on, and she's either going to take it or she won't. Hopefully she'll take it. But that's why we have to put them in lambing pens, or as the British would call them, lambing jugs, because we don't lamb on pasture. And when we lamb, there's that ewe out there now pushing. I won't sit here staring at her. I don't want her to get up again. So the reason we have to put them in lambing pens is because we don't lamb on pasture. If we lambed out on pasture, these ewes would go find their own space, and they would lamb, and they wouldn't be getting their lambs mixed up with other sheep that are lambing at the same time. And because we have a tight lambing season, we have a lot of ewes lambing at the same time. So if we lambed on pasture, we wouldn't have that problem. Why don't we lamb on pasture? Well, we have huge predation issues on this farm. So because of that, we bring our sheep in at night. Now, I know you're going to give me comments and say, well, just get a livestock guardian dog. Yeah, I know. Had livestock guardian dogs in the past on my farm where I grew up. Love them. Great individuals. Absolutely recommend guardian dogs. Moved here with my wife when I married her, and we don't live on this farm. And the livestock guardian dog I brought with me did not work out. We've got a 6-lane highway on the north boundary of this farm, and he kept crawling through the fence and getting out there. And then he wasn't bugging traffic, he was just walking along the fence line because it was easier. There's no trees on that side of the fence, and he was just patrolling his boundary. But people would see him out there, they would stop, think he was lost, call him over, give him some treats and get him in his car, and then phone us because we had a number on his collar. But because of the trees, they can't actually see that there's a farm here, so they just think he was lost. Well, then he got in the habit of going to vehicles for treats. So that's why we don't have a livestock guardian dog. Because of that, we lock our sheep up at night. So if we were lambing on pasture, they would still be locked in at night. And the problem becomes, right now, I would be ready to let the sheep out to pasture. So if I let the sheep out to pasture, all these sheep that just lambed in the night would probably take off the pasture, and there'd be this big jumble of lambs, and nobody would know whose was who. Or, likes of that ewe that's in the midst of lambing might have a lamb on the ground and take off the pasture and then have the second one in the pasture and not come back for the one in the yard. Same thing at night. When we bring them in at night, if there's something in the midst of lambing or something that's freshly lambed, it becomes highly problematic. So until we're able to live on our farm and have a well-trained livestock guardian dog behind a good fence, we just simply won't be lambing on pasture. And if we're not lambing on pasture, we've got to do this nonsense of bringing them in and deal with gates. So these ewes, we let them out into the group pen today if they're lambs. I normally don't let them out unless I know they're well mothered, but just as a little precaution, I do spray paint numbers on the ewes and then the same number on their lamb. So like the ewe that has triplets, all three of her lambs got number 1, and she has a number 1, and so on and so forth. So when I let everybody out, then I know who belongs to who. So if I see one crying and I think it's hungry, I can go find its mother. So I got all these girls fed and watered. I made sure that lamb was sucking. The other little lamb in the corner there is sucking. So I'm just going to get out of here. I used to spend a lot of time making sure lambs were sucking. I don't now. I get them in their pens, I get the hell out. Except in this case, I get them in their pens and then I make a YouTube video. But it's a beautiful day. I want to get out of here, let that ewe over there lamb. Here's a skinny Holstein cow up there on the hill. Maybe I'll make a video about her one day. I bought her skinny, so that's why she's skinny. She is getting fatter, and you can see out there beyond that skinny cow is our lineback cows and our English large black pigs out there bale grazing. And I'm going to go out there now and feed those pigs. And then I'm going to maybe try to plant the 2-acre field over there where we farrowed pigs last fall, and try to plant that in oats and peas. We still have a lot of frost. There's no frost in the ground, but we have a lot of frosty nights coming up. That'll maybe just kind of help make some ground to seed contact and get those seeds germinating. So that's our update, March 30th. And well, maybe I'll make another video this afternoon if we have more lambs. Take care, folks.